8, and I seek your permission to do that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Any seconder? Right, Honorable?
My Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Right Honorable Dixon Taki OON. I rise this morning to support the motion as ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable Komoti, please kindly proceed and lay your report. The Leader of the House, please can you move that the House step down the first order of the day to the fifth order of the day to the next legislative date to enable us to concentrate on the sixth order.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Professor Julius Ihombere, Owan Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, and from Edo State. I rise to move that we step down orders of the day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to enable us concentrate on 6, 7, 8, and 9 in view of the extensive work involved for today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Minority Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the House Leader. However, Mr. Speaker, in so doing, I also want to raise a point of order, sir. Mr. Speaker,
on the same subject matter, on the same issue?
It's different issues, sir.
So
let's conclude on this.
Let's conclude on this, and then you can raise your point of order.
Very well, sir. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Please, those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. I come under Order 9, Rule 15. Order 9, Rule 9, Sub 15, Prohibition of Weapons. Mr. Speaker, in raising this point of order, I will ask my colleague Lauri to please stand up for proper inspection. Mr. Speaker, let him stand up so that you can look at him properly.
Please oblige. Is that Bulala or what?
Mr. Speaker, he is just envious of me because I'm a triple chief. And it is my time, to wear, at least to show people that I have a tradition and custom. Thank you.
I like that, Honorable Komoti. I think this point of order is going to be rejected. You are dressing properly. And we would want to advise the minority leader to dress like that on Tuesday next week. Honorable colleagues, the sixth order of the day is consideration of 4 reports. Standing in the name of Honorable James Abiodun Faleke, Honorable Faleke will move for their consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is James Abiodun Faleke. I represent the people of Ikeja Federal Constituency from Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, by the leave of your office, Mr. Speaker, I'm the chairman of House Committee on Finance. Mr. Speaker, let me first say that just a small history before I move for consideration. On the 8th of October...
Order, please. Order.
On the 8th of October 2024, the 4 tax bills were read the first time on this floor. On the 12th February 2025, the bills were read a second time and referred to the House Committee of Finance. Between 26 to 28 February 2025, the committee held public hearing on the bills to get wide-range inputs from members of the public and stakeholders. Between 2nd to 9th March, the committee held markup sessions on the bills. And of course, on Tuesday, 11th of March, 2025, the committee report was laid before the House. On behalf of the committee, I hereby present the reports, and I move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to provide for the assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruing to the Federation, federal, states, and local governments prescribed in powers and functions of tax authorities and for related matters, HB 1756, and approve the recommendations therein. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, permit me to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act number 207 and enact the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill to establish Nigerian Revenue Service, charged with powers of assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruable to the government of the Federation and for related matters, 1757, and approve the recommendations therein. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to establish Joint Revenue Board, the Tax Appeal Tribunal, and the Office of the Tax Ombudsman for the harmonization, coordination, and settlement of disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria and for related matters, HB 1758, and approve the recommendations therein. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to repeal certain acts on taxation and consolidate the legal frameworks relating to taxation and enact the Nigerian Tax Act to provide for taxation of income, transactions, and instruments, and for related matters, HB 1759, and approve the recommendations therein. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
The Deputy Chairman of the Committee, Honorable Said. Can you second, please?
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida, Bako, Kacha Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I am from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second that the 4 reports from the Committee of Finance on these all important bills be considered. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The House Leader, please can you move that the House resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider these reports?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider the 4 reports as listed in the other paper. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader, please can you kindly second?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do resolve into Committee of the Whole. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. House has resolved to Committee of the Whole. Honorable colleagues, the first report to be considered is that of the Committee of Finance on a bill for an act to provide for the assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruing to the Federation, federal, states, and local governments, prescribe the powers and functions of tax authorities and for related matters. It's my pleasure to invite the Chairman, Committee on Finance, to give us synopsis of this particular bill.
Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, kindly permit me to give a synopsis of all the 4 bills together at once so that it will ease the consideration and understanding of all our members. I have provided a document which has been shared to all of us, which entails all the amendments that we have done to the bills so that we can all follow it up because the books are so I summarized all the documents, the amendments. Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, it is with great honor and responsibility that I lay the report, I request for consideration of this report. This report is a summary of the extensive review of the bills carried out by members of the House Committee, the Special House Committee of Finance following the public hearing. The first bill, Mr. Chairman, the Nigerian Tax Bill. This bill is purposed to be the core legislation detailing the tax obligations of every taxpayer in respect of his income, profits, instruments, or gains. To achieve this purpose, the bill seeks to repeal and amend the current tax laws and consolidate all existing tax laws into a single, comprehensive, and simplified piece of legislation. This approach is expected to eliminate ambiguities, ensure consistency, and provide clarity for taxpayers and tax administration alike. 2, the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill. The Tax Administration Bill focuses on the processes for assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruing to all tiers of government. The bill prescribes the powers and functions of the tax authorities, as well as introduces new provisions aimed at ensuring hitch-free tax administration processes. The Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill. The bill repeals the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act and establishes the Nigerian Revenue Service, an agency saddled with the responsibility of collecting all federal taxes, whilst collaborating with other revenue agencies across the 3 tiers of government. The functions, powers, funding, etc. of the Nigerian Revenue Service are elucidated in the Nigerian Revenue Establishment Bill. And finally, Mr. Chairman, the Joint Revenue Board Bill. The Joint Revenue Tax Board is rebranded as the Joint Revenue Board pursuant to the provisions of this bill, while retaining its functions and powers as is. The bill establishes the Office of the Tax Ombudsman to allow for alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, thus making the tax appeal tribunal and the subsequent appellate court a final dispute resolution. Mr. Chairman, sir, I want to start on the Nigerian tax bill, which is on page 3 of the document.
I thought, Honorable Chair, you are just to restrict yourself to the first bill. We will take them one after the other. After consideration of the first bill, you will now give synopsis of the second bill, and then the third bill, and then the fourth bill, so that it will flow in that manner,
Thank you very
rather
much.
than
Thank you for your
compressing
guidance.
all the four together.
Thank you for your guidance. So the Nigerian tax bill, the proposal to replace, these are amendments which we worked on and adopted at the committee level. So on page 3, proposal to replace the word ecclesiastical with religious, which was what our stakeholders preferred. The word religious is used instead of ecclesiastical, which is seen as if it is purely one religion. There was a call for deletion of the proposed reintroduction of inheritance tax under the guise of taxation of family income, as this oversteps divine jurisdiction, which places inheritance matters within the scope of Sharia and customary laws of the North and South, respectively. So in the amendment, the inheritance tax is defined as inheritance before distribution, cannot be taxed before distribution. Reduction of VAT rates to 5%, or alternatively maintain the current rate of 7.5%.
Honorable Chinda, please can you approach the chair?
The committee adopted the 7.5%. Recommendations for the reinstatement of contributions towards NASENI, NIDA, and a call to ensure continuous funding from the development levy. This, of course, was retained without sunset clauses. Suggestions to name NIPC as the relevant authority in respect of priority sectors and company operating therein. This, of course, was amended and adopted. Appeal to reinstate the need for a certificate of acceptance of fixed assets, CAFA, to claim capital allowance as historically issued by the Industrial Inspectorate Department of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade, and Investment. This is important as the bill eliminated these particular provisions, which what it means is that if you are a businessman and you procure equipment which you want to use for capital allowance, the Federal Ministry of Trade will go to your factory or offices and inspect and ensure that you have put that in use, and then issue you a certificate of capital allowance. And this is retained. This is brought into the bill before you. Proposal for an introduction of a 1.5% service charge based on the economic development tax credit for companies operating in the priority sector. On page 4, suggestions of additional sectors, activities to be included in the priority list, such as poultry, fish, meat processing, construction of utility projects, residential building, music production, publishing and distribution, telecommunications, etc., was also included in the bill before you. A recommendation to exclude vessels as a ground for creating permanent establishment for non-resident shipping companies, of course, was not allowed. Proposal to resolve the conflict between the proposed NRS, Nigerian Revenue Service, and NUPRC in respect of collection of royalty for oil and gas companies in favor of the service. The royalty is seen as tax, and so the Nigerian Revenue Service is given the responsibility to collect all taxes in the law. And so NUPRC will be purely in charge of operations and collection, and their own cost of operations is not amended. It's not touched at all. There was a recommendation to remove the provisions purporting to delete the exemption and incentive clauses of NEPSA and Free Trade Zones Act. The Free Trade Zones Act. That is to revert to the current provisions of the NEPSA and Free Trade Zones Act, as well as current practice of the enterprises within the free trade zones. Mr. Chairman, sir, honorable colleagues, this particular issue generated a lot of debates, and the point is this. On this floor, we created free trade zone laws, which says that anybody who wants to export or investors can have a free trade zone. But this free trade zone must be solely for export in order to enhance revenue into the country. However, with practice, they have seen that those who have free trade zone licenses have used it to bring in even luxury vehicles and producing products that are manufactured outside free trade zone. In other words, if this chamber, for example, is a free trade zone, and we manufacture toiletries or whatever, the practice now is that Nigerians they take free trade zone license and produce within free trade zone and export to Nigerian territory, but they don't want to pay taxes. So we have, in this recommendation, limited them to 25% as per the old act. Say, look, whatever you produce in your free trade zone, you can only export to Nigeria territory 25% of your production. The remaining 75% must be exported out of the country. And you must show, for you to qualify for tax exemption, you must show evidence of export and your income. Wherever you deposit it, the system does not care. But you must show that you exported it before you benefit. If not, your 100% will be taxed accordingly. But I think that's the summary of that particular bill. And of course, let me point out to say that the bill itself has, if passed, of course, has repealed all these companies' income tax, which was enacted in 1979, the value-added tax in 1993, personal income tax 1993, federal inland revenue, if we pass that bill, 2007, capital gains tax 1967, Stamp Duties Act 1939, Casino Act in 1965, Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Act, and then, of course, Industrial Development Income Tax Relief 1971, Petroleum Profit Tax Act 1959, and, of course, Venture Capital Incentives of 1993. Mr. Chairman, let me start for the consideration of this first bill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for an elaborate brief on the first bill before us, which is the Nigerian tax bill. Honorable colleagues, it will interest you to know that we have clauses 1 to 203 under this particular bill. And I'm sure since this document has been circulated since yesterday or day before yesterday, at least electronically, we have taken time to go through all the clauses, one after the other. We don't need to waste too much time on each clause reading before we give our consent. So with your kind permission, if there is no any issue with the brief given by the chairman for us to proceed from clause 1 and see how far we can go on this particular bill. So clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, clause 4, clause 5, clause 6, clause 7, clause 8, clause 9, clause 10, clause 11, clause 12, clause 13, clause 14, clause 15, clause 16, clause 17, clause 18, clause 19, clause 20, clause 21 to 30, clause 31 to 40, clause 41 to 50, clause 51 to 60, clause 61 to 70, clause 71 to 80, clause 81 to 90, clause 91 to 100.
Clause 101 to 110. Clause 111 to 120. Clause 121 to 130. Clause 131 to 140. Clause 141 to 150. Clause 151 to 160. Clause 161 to 170. Clause 180 to 181.
Carried.
Clause 181 to 182.
Carried.
182 to 183.
Carry
184 to
everything.
185. 186 to 187. 188 to 189. 189 to 190. 191 to 200. 200 to 210. 210 to 220. 221. 222. 223.
Carried.
The schedules, explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill. Thank you very much. Order, please. Order, order, order. Honorable colleagues, the second report to be considered is that of the Committee of Finance on a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act number 13, 2007, and to enact the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill to establish Nigeria Revenue Service charged with powers of assessment, collection of and accounting for revenue accruable to the government of the Federation and for related matters. At this point, it's my pleasure to invite the chairman of the Committee on Finance to give us a synopsis of this very important bill. The chairman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my dear honorable colleagues. I will just summarize, Mr. Chairman, with the synopsis, which says that the Joint Tax Board is rebranded. Oh, sorry, establishment, sorry. Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, Mr. Chairman, 2025. This bill repeals the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act and establishes the Nigerian Revenue Service as agency saddled with the responsibility of collecting all federal laws while collaborating with other revenue agencies across the three tiers of government. The functions, powers, funding, etc. of the Revenue Service are elucidated in the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill. Mr. Chairman, the only major inputs we added, Mr. Chairman, is presently, as constituted, the Federal Inland Revenue Service have what they call coordinating directors. They have 8 coordinating directors, and they are all civil servants, and they are appointed internally by the chairman of the Revenue Service. We believe that this does not allow for proper checks and balances. And so, Mr. Chairman, we recommended that if the House do approve, the directors should be 6 directors from 1 per region. The directorates will be 6, and one from each of our geopolitical zone. And we also added, Mr. Chairman, because we know that a geopolitical zone, for example, Northwest, they have 7 states. And we ensure that there is fairness and there's federal character principle even at that level. And that if Mr. President wishes to appoint these directors from these directorates, he must follow alphabetical order, so that every state within that geopolitical zone will one time or the other have a director representing them. And of course, Mr. Chairman, as executive directors. Mr. Chairman, we also added that each state should have one member on the board of the Nigerian Revenue Service, because it's now collecting revenue on behalf of the Federation, no longer just because of federal government. I think these are the major issues that we allow my colleagues, Sada or anybody to add. My leaders are also here. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for a good job. I can recollect that day before yesterday, I had cause to call all of you. The ad hoc committee comprising of 36 members, 1 representing each state, and 6 geopolitical zonal caucus leaders, 2 regional leaders, and some few experts among us who are very versatile on tax, law, and finance matters, to meet and look at the report you submitted. We ask questions, and it appears at the end of the meeting that every member, without exception, every member was satisfied with the job done. Everyone was carried along, everyone made his contribution, everyone collected inputs from his state and brought before the committee for consideration, and everything was considered. So I believe that what we have, honorable colleagues here, for those who are not members of this particular ad hoc committee, is the handwork of not a few, but of all. 36 members plus the regional and zonal caucus leaders. 100% consent and assent of all of them. I've never seen in my history here in the National Assembly where a report is endorsed 100% unanimously by all members except this particular assignment. So I just want to assure you that what you have before us is a reflection of Nigeria, Nigeria's interest, Nigeria's agitations, and Nigeria's inputs into what they feel should be the tax, the revised tax bills for Nigeria. So for those who just received this report maybe a day or 2 ago, I sincerely hope you have gone through and you have seen the good work that has been done by the committee and you are satisfied. If you have any reservation on any of the clauses, please feel free as we are going through to raise your hand for me to recognize you, to tell us what you are not comfortable with. But just to put on record, all your representatives of the states have participated and they have all assented to this particular document before us. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and thank you so much all the members of the ad hoc committee for the good job you have done. God bless you. Nigeria will record you in the right side of history. Thank you so much. So, honorable colleagues, without any waste of time, I refer you to the document Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill 2025, where we have only 22 clauses affected by this review. And those clauses that have been amended are clauses 1, clauses 4, clauses 7, clauses 8, clauses 10, clause 12, clause 13, clause 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 23, 28, 31, 36, 38, 39, 41, and 42. Those are the clauses that have been amended in this particular bill. So with your kind permission, we go through one after the other. Clause 1, Clause 4, Clause 7, Clause 8, Clause 10, Clause 12, Clause 13, Clause 14, Clause 16, Clause 17, Clause 18, Clause 19, Clause 22, Clause 23, Clause 28, Clause 31, Clause 36, Clause 38, Clause 39, Clause 41, Clause 42. The schedule, explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill. Thank you very much. Even the thank you is carried, right? God bless you. Honorable colleagues, the third report to be considered is that of the Committee of Finance on a bill for an act to establish Joint Revenue Board, the Tax Appeal Tribunal, and the Office of the Tax Ombudsman for the harmonization, coordination, and settlement of disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria and for related matters. At this point, it's my pleasure to invite the chairman of the Committee on Finance to give a synopsis of this particular bill. The chair, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues. Mr. Chairman, I will refer our members to page 6 of this document, which shows the only five issues were raised and amended, and that's amendments made to the Joint Revenue Board bill includes the following. Clause 25, qualification of a tax appeal commissioner. This section was amended by deleting the proposed paragraph C currently contained in the FRS that it is the committee's opinion that showing capacity in the management of trade or business is not a standard qualification criteria for a tribunal commissioner, and as such expunged that provision. We believe that it should be more, and we said the person must be legally
Honorable Halims, please can you find your seat?
funds of the Office of the Tax Ombudsman. That is the alternative dispute resolution that we seek to have in our system. Where is the fund going to come from? We do not want the Nigeria Revenue Service to be paying so that there will be no bias, because it is supposed to settle disputes between Nigeria Revenue Service and taxpayers. So the provision of the funding of the Ombudsman has been amended to expunge the following: all gift items, grants, and routing the fund through the Consolidated Revenue Fund, subject to the approval of the National Assembly. This is to ensure independence of the office and remove the likelihood of bias towards any party in the execution of its functions. Expenditure of the Office of the Tax Ombudsman. The committee has included additional expenses to be charged to the fund established for the Office of Ombudsman, including the cost of administration, pre-approved reimbursements to members of the board or any committee set up by the board. And paragraph 8 of the second schedule, which is also in the bill, the application of the Evidence Act. We made amendment to this provision to ensure that the provisions of Evidence Act are strictly adhered to during proceedings of the Tax Appeal Tribunal. And of course, we introduced a new provision the committee has proposed an inclusion in the bill to provide for the funding of the Tax Appeal Tribunal through the Consolidated Revenue Fund to be appropriated by the National Assembly. This is to put an end to the current funding of the Tax Appeal Tribunal by the Federal Inland Revenue Service. This is, of course, to ensure independence and fairness. Mr. Chairman, this is my submission.
Thank you, Chairman Finance, for such a very elaborate explanation of all the key areas of concern, areas that have been amended by the committee. Without any waste of time, honorable colleagues, we can start by looking at the clauses of this very important bill, and we have 159 clauses. We have 159 clauses, the schedules, explanatory memoranda, and the long title. So we go ahead and start from clause 1. Clause 1, please. Clause 2. Clause 3. Clause 4. Clause 5. Clause 6. Clause 7. Clause 8. Clause 9. Clause 10. Clause 11. Clause 12. Clause 13. Clause 14. Clause 15. Clause 16. Clause 17. Clause 18. Clause 19. Clause 20. Clause 21. Clause 22. Clause 23. Clause 24. Clause 25. Clause 26. Clause 27. Clause 28. Clause 29. Clause 30. Clause 31. Clause 32. Clause 33. Clause 34. Clause 35. Clause 36. Clause 37. Clause 38. Clause 39. Clause 40. Clause 41. Clause 42. Clause 43. Clause 44. Clause 45. Clause 46. Clause 47. Clause 48. Clause 49. Clause 50. Clause 51. Clause 52. Clause 53. Clause 54. Clause 55. Clause 56. Clause 57. Clause 58. Clause 59. The schedules, the explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Carried is also carried. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, the fourth report to be considered is that of Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to repeal certain acts on taxation and consolidate the legal frameworks relating to taxation and enact the Nigerian Tax Act to provide for taxation of income, transactions, and instruments and for related matters. At this point, it's my pleasure again to call on the chairman of the Committee on Finance to give us a synopsis of this bill, all these amendments.
Mr. Chairman, is it the tax administration? Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, it is a great pleasure to talk about this particular bill some of the sections there were part of those that generated some controversies. And I am happy to say that all those controversies were resolved without any complaint. So I want to call our members to please go to page 7, and you will permit me to read all the sections so that we are all on the same page. Page 7, Nigerian Tax Administration Bill. The following amendments were proposed by the committee under this bill. Section 7, or Clause 7, issuance of taxpayer ID. The timeline to issue the tax ID to taxpayers has been reviewed from the bill, from the originally proposed timeline in the bill, from 2 working days to 5 working days, to allow the tax authorities some latitude and make room for possible eventualities. Similarly, any refusal to issue a tax ID must be accompanied by reasons for such refusal to be communicated to the taxpayer. Clause 11, income tax return for companies. The time frame within which a company ceasing business is required to file its returns is reduced from 6 months to 3 months to cut potential revenue loss from non-operational businesses. Before now, the bill, they came up with, they proposed 6 months. If a company wants to stop operation, that should give notice, it should, the timeline within which to file the required returns is 6 months. We said no. We reduced, the committee recommended 3 months. Value-added tax. For the purpose of attribution or distribution, the committee recommended that the place of consumption of taxable supplies will be the place of consumption for taxable supplies will be irrespective of where returns are filed. In other words, all companies located in Lagos, Port Harcourt, anywhere, despite the fact that returns are filed from wherever they are located, or Plateau states, despite the fact that returns are filed from their location.
Even in Gibia?
Sir?
Even if they are based in Gibia?
So, we are there. Presently, sir, what the bill brought for us was to open up in terms of distribution for the consumption. That was what the president felt that needed to be done. And in his proposal, the president requested that the place of consumption should be the point of derivation of the VAT. So now we have agreed that irrespective, the clause we added is irrespective of where the returns is filed. And it's there, we have the interpretation clauses, they are all there. VAT fiscalization system. The committee included the need for further regulations by the service to get effect to the relatively new provisions of introducing a fiscalization system. Mr. Chairman, sir, the present system where companies file returns without federal inland revenue actually knowing whether they made that money, we want to deviate. This bill is proposing that we deviate from it. For example, Mr. Chairman, most of our supermarkets that take VAT on behalf of government, they don't remit. And when they want to remit maybe 30%. So the Federal Inland Revenue did a practical example by going to a particular company, which I will not mention the name, and introduce their system into their own system. And they discovered that the company was actually remitting like 1/10 of what they ought to have been remitting. So we believe that if this is introduced by FRS to all commercial entities, Nigeria will stand to benefit. Mr. Chairman, sir, we added in the bill before you that all companies must give access. They must give access to Nigerian Revenue Service to all their computer. In other claims, Mr. Chairman, the moment you buy an airtime in point A, it is seen by their own revenue service. But here, you buy airtime in point A or point B, or even closer to the office of FRS, they don't get to know because the law does not allow them. Now, we are giving them the power, if you approve, for this. So the era of underpayment, under remittance will be over, and it will lead to more revenue for Nigeria. Information to be delivered by bankers and others. An amendment was introduced to allay the concerns of taxpayers in respect of the proposed information to be provided by banks by including the language for the purpose of tax to ensure that the information is not used for the purposes other than that of which it was intended. Similarly, the qualifying threshold for reportable transactions has been increased from 25 million to 50 million. The bill came with every transaction of 25 million must be reported by the bank. The returns must be filed to Revenue Service, and we believe that it will be too cumbersome. Apart from that, so many of our local businessmen are doing more than 25 million. And so, is it that every time they have to file their returns? So we increase the threshold to 50 million, for individuals, and from 100 million to 250 million in the case of corporate entities. Accreditation of tax agents. The committee has proposed the deletion of subsection 5, which implies that tax agents may be accredited by the service notwithstanding the qualification, experience, and certification of such persons. This addresses the concerns around the possibility of unqualified persons being accredited as agents. Currency of assessments and payments. Amendments made to this section ensure that tax is assessed in the currency of transaction and any liability is paid in the same currency. There were proposals that if you are assessed in US dollar, you should pay Naira as your tax. We said no. If the assessment is in US or Euro or any currency, or Shine or whatever the currencies are, you pay in that currency. And this, we believe, will assist us in our revenue. Power to distrain. Inclusion of the mandatory need for the tax authority to seek and obtain an order of the court before proceeding to sell movable assets belonging to taxpayers. The bill came with seeking our approval to sell anybody's property who refused to pay tax. And we said, no, there must be a court order for that purpose. That's the recommendation. Enforcement of powers. A new subsection has been proposed by the committee to provide for the taxpayer's obligation to provide password, access codes, and any such relevant details to access electronically stored information. This is deemed particularly important in view of the phasing out of manual storage of records and the increased volume of taxpayers' information stored electronically in computers and on the cloud. Power of the president or governor to remit taxes. Inclusion of the need to obtain the approval of National Assembly and States, House of Assembly for federal and state taxes, respectively, where the president or governor intends to remit. We argue on this, but we felt, let us just bring it to the floor, because we felt that there was no need to seek approval of national to remit taxes, but it's there for us. Power of the president to exempt companies from income tax. Inclusion of the need to obtain the approval of National Assembly where the president intends to exempt any person or class of income or profits from tax. In other words, if any company seeks to invest or you want to give tax credit to that person, you need to seek a National Assembly approval so that we don't continue to deplete our revenue and income. President, but yes. The power of the Accountant General to deduct at source. Similar to the above, the Accountant General is required to receive a resolution from the National Assembly in order to deduct any unremitted revenue due from MDAs. Mr. Chairman, sir, from our practice, we discovered that most of our agencies, they make revenue, but they don't remit, they spend the revenue. And unfortunately, they will claim that it is us that give them approval. We don't give such approval. So we are now saying that they must come to the National Assembly. I mean, the Accountant General has the power from by our resolution to deduct any of such money at source. Distribution of VAT revenue. For VAT purposes, a new basis for the distribution of the 55% to 35% respectively for state and local government allocation has been introduced thus. 50% to be distributed equally, 20% to be distributed based on population, 30% to be distributed based on consumption. Emphasis has also been placed on the actual place of consumption, irrespective of where the returns are filed. As, of course, as provided by stakeholders and our governors and the Governors Forum. Offenses and penalties. The committee has proposed that the interest charge as a fine for contravening the law to be at the prevailing CBN monetary policy rate, rather than the initially proposed 2% above prevailing rates. Mr. Chairman, I think that every other sections there, because they are so, the critical areas are the ones I have mentioned. Mr. Chairman, may also interest you to note that we proposed for our military men and women, especially those in war fronts, that in view of what they are going through, there's no sacrifice that is too much. And we propose that their tax, they are payee, personal income tax, they be exempted from personal income tax. Henceforth, this is our submission, Chairman and honorable colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, the Chair of Finance, again, for a very elaborate explanation of all the thorny areas of the bills. From what you said, you will agree with me that the committee has done a very commendable job in identifying and addressing areas that Nigerians generally complain during the public hearing. And with your kind permission, we can go ahead now and give our consent to these bills. The clauses affected as per this bill, the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, are in respect of clauses 1 to 143, 315, 383, and 387. Those are the affected clauses. So we go ahead and take decisions on them one after the other.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, who is raising a point of order?
Yes.
Yes,
there was
please.
a part in the bill that he said there was no decision on, he left it to the House. Sorry, Mr. Speaker. My name is Dr. Adebayo Adepoja. I represent the Barapa Central and the Barapa North Federal Constituency of Oyo State. There was a part that is in the bill that he said there was no decision on, that he left it to the House. So I don't know if there has been a decision, so we can clarify that.
There was no decision on what?
There was a place that he said he left it open to
In
the
the
House.
explanation made by the chairman?
By the chairman, yes, sir.
Uh-huh. I think the chair, did you hear what he said?
Yes,
I didn't quite understand where he is.
Mr. Chairman, there was a position where we said that powers of the president and the governors to remit taxes. we put in the bill that they need to seek National Assembly's approval before they can remit their taxes. And after the sitting that we have done and a review, we felt that why do they need to seek our approval to remit their obligations? That remitting taxes is their natural obligation. That's why I raised the issue.
But a position was taken. So it's not like there was no any position taken. I think they mentioned that as the initial decision, but later on they cancelled and they took a position on what needs to be done. I think that's what they're saying.
Sir. Very good, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, honorable colleagues, please can we proceed? Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3, Clause 4, Clause 5, Clause 6, Clause 7, Clause 8,
Carried.
Clause 9,
Carried.
Clause 10,
Carried.
Clause 11,
Carried.
Clause 11 to 15,
Carried.
16 to 20,
Carried.
21 to 25.
Speaker,
Yes, please.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Abdulsamad Dasuki, representing Kebetambual from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker or Mr. Chairman, my observations are on section 23.
Okay.
Where it spoke about fiscalization. The whole story is not there. There's a continuation of it in section 99. I'm raising this observation because of the fiscalization policy that is contained in this very important document. Mr. Speaker, before highlighting what is put down here, I'll have to commend the committee for removing all the issues, all the areas that have issues. We commend them for doing that. And I'll go to their recommendation, where it says, where the service deploys an electronic fiscal system, any person making a taxable supply shall use the EFS for recording and reporting all supplies. Mr. Chairman, in other laws that this Parliament has passed, more especially the Finance Act, the KAMA Act, and of course the People Living with Disabilities Act, majority of them have a moratorium in those laws because of the punishable component of it, which is going to come in section 99. But here it captures where it deploys. Notwithstanding, I think I would like the chair or members to look at the possibility of having a moratorium with regards to implementing fiscalization. I'm insisting because there is a penalty that is in this law already in section 99. We'll get there. So that is my own suggestion to Honorable Chairman.
Yes, Honorable Sada.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Sada Soile Jubia. Mr. Chairman, because it is drafting, the key word there is where. Where they didn't do it, people are not liable. So where they did it, where they did the fiscalization, they are sure the technology has reached there. I think that's the key word there is where. Remove any other thing there. The question is, if they didn't deploy fiscalization or the technology to Wuse market, people will not be penalized for not declaring. But where they deploy the technology, people are liable to comply because they know the technology is present in that location. I think that's the whole idea. Yes, that was the argument.
Okay, so you have had the explanation from members of the committee. Are you satisfied? Thank you very much. So, honorable colleagues, let's make progress. 26 to 30, carried. 31 to 35, carried. 36 to 40, 41 to 45, 46 to 50, 51 to 55, 56 to 60, 61 to 65, 66 to 70, 71 to 75, 76 to 80, 81 to 85, 86 to 90. Carried. 91 to 95, 96 to 100, 101 to 110, 111 to 120, 130 to 140, 141, 142, 143, 315, 383, 387, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill. Thank you very much. Thank you for carrying. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for a good job. Thank you all.
Carry.
Thank you. The leader of the House, please can you move that the House resolve back to plenary?
Mr. Chairman, I rise to move that the House do resolve to plenary, so the chairman as speaker can report to the House the proceedings of the Committee of the Whole. I so move.
The minority leader, please can you second?
Mr. Chairman, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that will revert back to plenary. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. House has resolved back to plenary.
Order, please. Order, order. Honorable Jimmy Benson.
Honorable Benson, please dissolve that new parliament. Doctor and Honorable Esosa. Doctor, Honorable Esosa. Order, order, please.
Order, please. Order. Honorable David, please can you sit down? Honorable Bukar.
Order.
And Zakaria. And Honorable Ibrahim Al-Mustafa. The House is greeting you. Honorable colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to provide for assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruing to the Federation, federal, states, and local governments, prescribe the powers and functions of tax authorities and for related matters, and in so doing, approve clauses 1 to 203, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill.
Adodo, go back to your seat. Pascal, go back to your seat. Adodo, go back to your seat. Sada Soli, go back to your seat. Alasan Adodo Sadauna, go back to your seat.
I've taken over. I've taken over, leader.
Honorable colleagues, order, please. Order, order. Professor Lillian, Honorable Uduak,
Dogwa, go back to your seat. As directed by the
did we
speaker.
carry Dogwa too? Carry Dogwa? That's a good, that's a big one, no? Too much for me.
Madaki, Honorable Madaki should be guided, sir. He should be guided that a leader of this house is always a leader and must be so respected.
Absolutely.
A bloody minority leader.
I agree, Honorable Madaki. Better take your time, oh.
He's breaking the house rule. He's talking when you didn't permit him to talk, sir.
Well, it's your Sardauna, and as a Sardauna, he has some privileges.
Mr. Speaker, but you have to remember that Madaki is from Zaria State.
Honorable colleagues, the Housing Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act number 13, 2007, and enact the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill to establish Nigeria Revenue Service charged with powers of assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruable to the government of the Federation and for related matters. And in so doing, approved clauses 1, 4, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 23, 28, 31, 36, 38, 39, 41, and 42. The schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long titles of the bills. Honorable colleagues, the Housing Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to establish Joint Revenue Board, the Tax Appeal Tribunal, and the Office of the Tax Ombudsman for the harmonization, coordination, and settlement of disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria and for related matters. And in so doing, approved clauses 1 to 59, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Last but not the least, honorable colleagues, the Housing Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to repeal certain acts on taxation and consolidate the legal frameworks relating to taxation and enact the Nigerian Tax Act to provide for taxation of income, transactions, and instruments, and for related matters. And in so doing, approved clauses 1 to 143, clauses 315, clause 383, and clause 387, the schedules, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. The Leader of the House, can you please move that the House do adopt these 4 reports?
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the report. I rise to move that the House do adopt the report from the Committee of the Whole as effectively rendered by Mr. Speaker and adopt them as working documents of this House. I so move.
Minority Leader, Marquez said you are disturbing our leader, unless if you want to be moved to the majority party. I will ask the opposition leadership to expel you to the majority party right now.
He's actually giving me a report from the party secretariat, the greatest party in Africa. That's right. The People's Democratic Party.
I see, I thought he was disturbing you.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we do adopt the report from the Committee of the Whole as a working document of this House. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. Thank you very much. The Leader of the House, please can you move that the House adjourn to Tuesday next week, 11 a.m.?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Professor Julius Ihonvere, Owan Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Edo State. I rise to move that the House do adjourn to Tuesday next week, 11 a.m., same venue. I so move.
Minority Leader, please can you second?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do stand adjourned to Tuesday next week. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes can go while the nays can remain until Tuesday, 11 a.m. Thank you.